got the haircut, boys. We got it, boys. Yeah. I say boys because I don't think any woman watches this channel. Maybe they do, but they probably don't. And we're back for Undiscovered Gems. Been a little while since I did this. I think I did it in February. I think it was for Wild Chupatulis, and that was the last time I did it, so I thought I'd bring it back for another episode. I think 2018's been bashed in with this series. I'm sure I've done quite a few 2018 albums for this particular Undiscovered Gems series already, and that's because there's a lot of great albums from this year, and I could probably keep going further with albums from 2018, because off the top of my head I can think of a few that I haven't done that could be for this series. And of course it's always albums I've discovered later on, because I was doing this channel in 2018 but didn't come across Remember from Ólafur Arnalds until last year. I think it was the end of 2020 I found this, and was really impressed. So this is one of those artists that has worked elsewhere alongside his own solo albums. I believe he's done soundtracks for TV shows and films, one of them being Broadchurch. I think when that was on TV, I think Ólafur was working on that soundtrack, which, if you don't know, was a huge UK drama series which had David Tennant and Olivia Colman in, so yeah, it was huge. And this Icelandic king was involved in that TV show, so big ups to Ólafur for being involved in such a big moment for TV in the UK, while also going alongside and doing his own solo stuff, and it being like fantastic. And Remember is no exception to that rule, which is a brilliant piece of modern classical music that I absolutely adore. It's an album that's a very emotive and somber, with the piano melodies that come through. There's just a really heart-wrenching feel to these tracks. If you are in the mood for something sad, I think you'd get a lot out of this album. While it offers something that I think is absolutely beautiful, at the same time I think it could get you in a mood that's just really depressing and morbid. The opening track, however, though, has a more magical feel to it when that piano just really starts to linger and become a prominent part of the track. It really just does feel so beautiful. It's a shining moment, and then when the drums kick in later on, it's a really fantastic progression from where the track started, and just really kicks off the album in a way that makes you go, yeah, this is going to be something special. The Unfold track, which is the only one that really has a prominent feature of vocals, which I think is from the artist Son. This again just is very enchanting when those background vocals come in, and they're kind of just flickering. They're not really at the prominent, they're not really a prominent focus of the song, but they really are effective for what they're doing. It makes me feel like the album could have probably had more of this, and I wouldn't have minded at all. Not to say that the album is missing something in any way, but just a sort of view into what this album could have been if more moments like this cropped up, I think is a world I want to be a part of. Very Masakatsu Tagaki-esque, which, if you've been following this series, is an artist I have raved about already, so you guys know that anything that reminds me of that is just a win. The violin comes through in a very subtle way. It's beautiful, really. There are so many moments where the violin is just complementing the piano in a way that I think is just gorgeous. It never leaves a moment where anything's wasted. Everything is very, very in its right place. Brot is a track that is pouring out with pain. The utter grief that's coming through on this track is just unmatched. It really does make you think and make you feel. Makes you feel a bit, gives you chills. It's just such a depressing moment. But there are tracks like this that follow this as well across the album. Like, there's small piano pieces, and what he packs in, the emotion he packs in with just one instrument, really, is very impressive. Momentary is another moment like that, and I feel as though it could get a bit boring if you just repeated similar piano melodies across the album, but it never really does. It never does. It never feels like I'm wanting more. It just gives you exactly what you want. Inconsist is oozing with beauty though. This is the kind of track that I just adore. It's 6 minutes in length. It just has a magnificent sound design to it. It is utterly wonderful, absolutely wonderful, just reminiscent of the first track, Remember, which again just has this magical feel to it that is very hard to achieve, and Ólafur does. He achieves it really, really. Just wow, puts a smile on my face every time. Tracks like this on this album are just to die for, really are to die for. And then tracks like Undiscovered have a very lively feel to it. This one just feels like very in the moment, and a live jam session perhaps with, you know, Ólafur and whoever else is working with him in the studio, just kind of throwing out all kinds of melodies. I mean, I'm sure it's very calculated, but the way it just feels so natural is really impressive as well. And that's essentially what the album offers, just a really wonderful experience from start to finish that I think you would be a fool not to lay your ears on, because Ólafur is really bloody good. That's my summary. He's bloody good. And Remember is an absolute undiscovered gem, especially when you look at how, you know, albums like that Floating Points and Pharoah Sanders collaboration recently caught a lot of attention and caught a lot of love. It just makes me look at albums like this and think, man, we could see the same love for this if more people were listening to it. Like, you really could. There's just a huge amount of appeal and beauty to what Ólafur is doing on this, and he had to be in this series. He had to be mentioned here because he is a fantastic artist. So yeah, if you liked anything I just described in this video, please lay your ears on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you have already heard it. But if you haven't though, listen to it, then come back and tell me what you think, because I would love to see more love for this album. Thank you for watching. Do have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already, and goodbye.